I've been sharing my story since before Justin started his career.
And he's heard me share my story for years. And so when he turned 18, I thought, it's time now he wants a little bit of space. So I'm going to do a little bit of some of the things that I've been wanting to do. And I think it's just good timing because there's, over 2 million Twitter followers that call me mom. And I really feel a responsibility to respond. Well, Justin wrote the foreword, and he's, super supportive of it. And I remember before my book went to print, I went home and I had all my family members read it and give me feedback and bless it before I went to print. So. I think everyone's a critic, and so it's hard to put yourself out there and be vulnerable in front of everyone, but I had to remember why I'm doing it. And I know that people sharing their story with me when I was younger and I was in a really difficult position, they would say, hey, I've been where you are and I'm not there now, and you can get through it. So for me, I just want to be able to say, hey, I've been there. I know all your struggles. There's so many things that I can relate to, and I want you to have hope and don't give up, because you won't be like that forever. Having to remember why I'm doing it, the purpose of it is to help other people. And if it's only one person that gets helped through this whole thing, it's worth it, Man, there's so many people that come up to me, like in airports and malls and on the street, on Twitter and fan mail. People are just, the support is overwhelming, and they're just telling me how much their story changed their life. And, it's heartbreaking, some of them. Yesterday, I was reading a letter from a teen girl. She said, I know I'm only 13, but I can relate to you wanting to commit suicide. And I was just, it's heartbreaking. They have real issues. There was a young man from the projects in LA, the Watts projects, and I went down there to do some book club stuff with them and go through some of my discussion questions. And he was late teens, early 20s. And they go through a lot. And his sister was shot. Half of them, their parents have abandoned them, or they're, always on drugs and just not present for them. And so they were just, hanging off of every word that I had to say. And I remember one young man, he just, hard. He's been through so much, and he just looked at me and he said, whoa, who knew that I could relate to Justin Bieber's mom and her story? So I think people would be surprised at the things that I've been through and that they can relate to. A combination of years of sexual abuse, years of drug and alcohol abuse, and the pain and the shame from my past, everything sort of spiraled out of control until I ended up in the hospital for trying to commit suicide. And so I realized I didn't have any real friends at the time, but I had this one amazing man who would come in and encourage me, tell me his story. I didn't always want to listen to my parents, but, I had the director of a youth center come in and talk to me a lot and encourage me. And he said to me one day, when you hit rock bottom, you have only one way to go but up. And so that always stuck with me. And so when I want to encourage someone, I say, there's nowhere but up to go from here.